Emily James had been eagerly looking forward to Valentine's Day. As a hopeless romantic, she had planned a special evening with her fiancé, Ryan. They were set to have dinner at a rooftop restaurant overlooking the city skyline, followed by a late-night walk in the park where he had first asked her out. She spent the morning shopping for a red dress and a pair of heels, dreaming about the perfect evening. But little did she know that fate had different plans for her. As the sun began to set, Emily's excitement grew. She carefully did her makeup, styled her hair, and put on her dress. Just as she was about to leave her apartment, she received a strange, anonymous text message: "Don't go out tonight. It's not safe." Confused, she showed it to Ryan when he arrived to pick her up. He laughed it off, assuming it was a prank. Unbothered, Emily deleted the message and stepped into the night, unaware of the danger lurking ahead. The evening started beautifully. The rooftop restaurant was decorated with red roses and fairy lights, and soft music played in the background. Emily and Ryan enjoyed a candlelit dinner, exchanging heartfelt words about their future together. Everything felt magical, like a scene from a romantic movie. The gentle breeze carried the scent of roses, and for a moment, Emily forgot all about the strange text message. But as they left the restaurant and made their way toward the park, a sudden unease settled in Emily's heart. The street seemed quieter than usual, and she couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching them. Ryan noticed her discomfort and squeezed her hand reassuringly. "It's just your imagination, love," he whispered. But Emily's instincts screamed otherwise. Moments later, a black SUV with tinted windows slowly pulled up beside them, and before she could react, two masked men jumped out, grabbing her forcefully. Emily's heart pounded as she struggled against the strong grip of her captors. Ryan fought fiercely, trying to pull her away, but a hard blow to the head sent him crashing onto the pavement. The last thing Emily saw before being shoved into the vehicle was Ryan's unconscious body lying still on the cold ground. She screamed, but the sound was muffled as the men gagged her, tying her wrists behind her back. Terror gripped her as she realized she had no control over what would happen next. The SUV sped off, its tires screeching against the asphalt. The scent of leather and sweat filled the air as Emily trembled in fear. Who were these men? What did they want? A voice in the darkness spoke, rough and menacing. "Stay quiet, and you might live to see another day." The vehicle stopped at an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town. Emily was dragged inside, her heels scraping against the cracked concrete floor. The dim lighting cast eerie shadows across the rusted metal walls. She was pushed onto a chair, her hands still bound behind her back. Her captors, all wearing masks, exchanged hushed words. One of them, a tall man with piercing blue eyes, stepped forward and removed his mask. "You don't remember me, do you?" he asked coldly. Emily's mind raced. His face looked familiar, but she couldn't place him. "You ruined my life, and now it's my turn to ruin yours." Panic surged through Emily's veins as she desperately searched her memory. Then it hit her, Kevin Dawson. They had attended the same university years ago, and she had testified against him in a harassment case that got him expelled. His voice was filled with bitterness and rage. "You took everything from me," Kevin spat. "Now, I'm going to make sure you suffer the way I did." Emily's blood ran cold. She had never imagined that a decision she made years ago would come back to haunt her in such a terrifying way. Meanwhile, Ryan regained consciousness, his head throbbing from the impact. Desperate to find Emily, he called the police, explaining what had happened. Every second that passed felt like an eternity. He refused to sit back and do nothing, so he began tracking Emily's phone, hoping it would lead him to her. His hands shook as he typed in the tracking application, praying it would give him a clue. When he saw the location blinking on the map, he wasted no time. He had to save her. Back in the warehouse, Emily tried to stall for time, engaging Kevin in conversation. "If you hurt me, the police will find you," she warned, keeping her voice steady despite her fear. Kevin smirked. "They won't get here in time." He leaned closer, his eyes dark with malice. "I've waited too long for this moment." As Kevin stepped away to discuss with his men, Emily's fingers fumbled with the knot binding her wrist. Using every ounce of strength, she managed to loosen them just enough to slip free. Her heart pounded as she scanned the warehouse for an escape route. She spotted a small window in the far corner, her only hope of freedom. Summoning all her courage, she lunged for a nearby metal rod and swung it at one of the captors, knocking him down. The others turned in shock, but before they could react, she bolted towards the exit. Just as she reached the door, Kevin grabbed her by the arm, yanking her back forcefully. Ryan, following the location on Emily's phone, arrived at the warehouse just in time to hear her scream. Ignoring the fear clawing at his chest, he kicked open the door and charged inside. Kevin's men lunged at him, but he fought back with everything he had. Fueled by desperation, he landed punches with a force he didn't know he possessed. Emily took the opportunity to break free once again, this time grabbing a nearby crate and smashing it against Kevin. Dazed, he stumbled backward, giving her the chance to run toward Ryan. Together, they fought their way out, dodging blows as they made their escape. Outside, sirens wailed in the distance. Kevin, realizing he was out of time, pulled out a gun. "You're not leaving here alive," he growled, aiming at Emily. A single gunshot echoed through the night, but it wasn't from Kevin's gun. A police officer had arrived just in time, firing a warning shot into the air. Within seconds, Kevin and his men were surrounded. Defeated, they dropped their weapons and raised their hands as officers swarmed in. Emily collapsed into Ryan's arms, sobbing from relief. The nightmare was finally over. The police took Kevin and his men into custody, ensuring that he would never be able to hurt her again. As they stood under the city lights, Emily held onto Ryan tightly. "I thought I was going to lose you," he whispered, brushing a tear from her cheek. She smiled weakly, knowing how close she had come to death. Valentine's Day would never be the same for her again, but she had survived. And with Ryan by her side, she knew she would never have to face anything alone. In that moment, she realized that love wasn't just about romantic gestures, it was about standing by each other through life's darkest moments, proving that together, they could overcome anything.